Hey guys, my name's Kevin and welcome to our latest series on chord melody. You guys asked for it and I'm bringing it to you. So, what is chord melody? Well, simply put, chord melody is taking a combination of chords and single notes and turning them into a piece of music. I'm going to show you how to do this yourself using the scale and using some chords in the key of C. And then I put a piece of music together that you heard in the beginning of this video, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I've got a tab for it included as well. So get yourself tuned up and let's have some fun with chord melody. Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and click that alert bell so you know when the next video is coming your way. If you're interested in more learning resources, head over to allforyouke.com where we have a full searchable library of songs, song sheets, practice tracks, worksheets, and more. All for you, allforyouke.com. All right, so in today's example, everything is going to be centered around the key of C, which means we need chords in the key of C and we need notes in the key of C. So we're going to start off by learning the notes in the key of C. So we refer back to the major scale. So the major scale simply is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, in the key of C, we know that there are no sharps or flats, so the only notes that we need for the key of C are C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and then we return back to C. So how do we play that on the uke? Well, we start here with our open C string, so we have a C note when we play that. And we go up a whole step here, C, C sharp, second fret is the D note. So we have C, D, then we move down to our open E string for E, our first fret for F, our third fret for G, then we move down to the open A string, second fret for our B note, and we move to the third fret for our C note. So this is a way of playing the major scale in a vertical manner, and what that does for us is it keeps everything in close proximity, because when you play through the scale, your hand doesn't have to shift positions up the neck. It can stay down here nice and tight to the first three frets. Well, you can also access all of these notes in the scale by going up horizontally on the neck. When you're playing the G string here, we use all of the same notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, but we have a different starting point. So we start with our G note. So we start on G as the open string. Second fret is A. Fourth fret is B, fifth fret is C, seventh fret is D, ninth fret is E, 10th fret is F, and then we get to our 12th fret, and that's the same as playing our open G. So why would we ever want to do that? Well, if you're going to come up with chords that are, say, higher up the neck and you want to access some notes that are a little further up the neck and closer to the chords that you're playing, well, this gives you the ability to do that. So for each of the strings, you can play the major scale on every individual string, or you can play it in this vertical fashion here. So that's pretty cool because now, once you start getting into chords, you have access to all of the notes in the key of C around the neck. All right, so the chords in the key of C are going to be directly related to the notes in the key of C. So we know the notes in the key of C are C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Well, those all correspond with a chord. I have a key chord chart on the website, allforyouke.com, if you want to check that out, and that will help you to identify the chords in every key, but we're just going to focus on C right now. So the first chord in the key of C is a major chord, and that's a C note, so we have C major. It's played like this. Ring finger, third fret on the A string. Our second chord in the key of C is a minor chord, and that's D minor, because D is our second note. It's a minor chord, so we play D minor, which is middle and ring on the G and C strings of the second fret and index on the first fret of the E string. Our third chord is a minor chord as well, and that's E minor. So the E note is related to this E minor chord, and that's played like this. This little staircase, you can see it on the graphic below. Our fourth chord that relates to our 4 note is an F. So we play that as a major chord. The 4 chord in a major key is always major. So we have an F chord right there. And then we go to our 5 chord, which is also going to be a major chord, and that is a G major. So we play that like this. Another substitution that we can use for the G chord always is our 5-7 chord, which is G7. So you could either use G or G7 in the key. Both will sound nice, a little more tension in the G7, but pretty cool. Our 6 chord is always a minor chord. The relative minor of the key, it's A minor. And that's just played middle finger, 2nd fret on the G string here. And then we have our B diminished chord, which is a kind of a weird chord in the key, but very tense, can be really useful going into walking back into your 1 chord, but we can play that like this with index on the G string, 1st fret, ring on the C string, 2nd fret, middle on the E string, 1st fret, and pinky on the A string of the 2nd fret. So you have this cool kind of tension chord that moves us right back to C. So those are the chords that we have available. Now, we could get into a lot of other variations of those chords, but just to kind of keep things simple day one, we're just going to use our straightforward major, minor chords and a 7th chord in there to put this thing together. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take notes from the major scale, combine them with a few of these chords, and I put together a little piece of music that will be a chord melody, and we'll have it tabbed out for you so you can check that out and play it too. So without further ado, let's get to our chord melody piece of music. If you're digging the sound of my uke, head over to allforuke.com/shop. You can have a Kala ukulele for yourself. When you buy your Kala ukulele through All for Uke, you're supporting us, and we really appreciate it. Make sure you check it out. Concerts, sopranos, tenors, baritones, a wide selection of accessories, capos, and more. All for you, allforuke.com/shop. All right, so now I'm going to play a little piece of music that I put together for you. I'm going to play through it, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it. So here we go. All right, so we're going to break this down into 3 sections. So our first section here starts off with the A minor chord. So A minor is our 6th chord, so we can use that or any combination of chords actually, but this one sounds nice here. So what I start off with is I just do a full strum with my thumb on that A minor chord. So that's the first move here. And then from there, I'm going to play the B note, which is on the A string of the 2nd fret, followed by the C note, which is on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then I'm going to take this note and slide it up to the D note, which is on the 5th fret. So we have strum, B, C, slide to D. So that's our first little move. From there, we move over to our F chord, and we do the same thing. We do a single down strum of the F chord with our thumb, followed by 2nd fret again, which is our B note, just as a single note, and then we finish it off with a full strum of a C chord. So that again, nice and slow, is strum the F, play the B note, and then strum the C chord. So when you put that together, you have so you can see how I kind of chose notes that were in close proximity to the chords I was playing, because those notes are going to lead into the chord nicely. So as you're trying to do this on your own, think about that as you go. Try to find some notes that are nice and close to the chords that you're doing, because they're going to just sound a little sweeter moving in and out of those chords. So that's the first little part here. Now let's check out the second part, which starts on a G major chord. So when I play this G major chord, I'm just going to do a single strum here, followed by using my pinky to play the C note on the A string. So I'm actually going to play this note, but I'm going to keep the chord intact. And that's another important point here is the more you can keep the chord shape in place while you stretch to your notes, the easier it is and the smoother everything is going to sound in between. So we have our G chord, and then we play the C note on the A string, and then we just take our pinky off and play the second fret, which is already held down by our middle finger, and then we play the third fret on the E string as a single note, and again we already have that in place. And then the little finishing piece here of that section, I just moved to an A minor chord, and I'm going to do 2 single down strums. So that whole piece, nice and slow, is down strum on the G, C, B, G, A minor. And then the final section, again, we're going to go back to our G chord here. We'll do a single down strum on G, followed by a reach here out to the D note on the 5th fret of the A string. And see how I'm kind of turning my hand here so that I can extend my pinky out. So you might need to kind of drop your thumb down behind the neck a little bit to get that extension. So I do single strum on G, D, and then I'm going to pull my pinky off and play the note that I'm holding down with my middle finger of the G chord on the 2nd fret. And then I return to the 3rd fret of the E string, which is also part of the G chord, and then finish it off with a single A minor. So that nice and slow is G, D, B, G, A minor. All right, now we're going to do the walk-through, talk-through version of this. So again, I'm going to start on the A minor chord and just go nice and slow and tell you the notes as I'm playing them. You can follow along on the tab below as well. So here we go, starting on the A minor. So A minor, B, C, slide to D, F chord, B, C chord, move to the G, G, C note, B note, G note, A minor, then back to my G chord, G, D, B, G, A minor. All right, so now we're going to play through this one together. I'm still going to go at a nice easy pace here, but I'm going to play through it twice so you have a good chance to have some repetitions working on this. So here we go, starting on the A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3 again. Well, I hope you had fun learning about chord melody with me. Make sure you're back for the next episode coming at you soon. We'll check out some new keys, some new chords, have some more fun with chord melody. Because I never came up with a name for this little piece of music, I'd love for you guys to comment below and let me know what this piece of music reminds you of. Does it remind you of the fall? Does it remind you of the sea? Does it remind you of medieval times? I don't know, all of these things could come to mind when you're playing a piece of music. So let me know in the comments below. I also want to remind you that I have a tab put together with the correct fingerings at allforuke.com where you can check out and get a little more detail on this. And I also have a worksheet where you can use some different chord progressions that I put together and make up your own chord melody versions using the C major scale. My name's Kevin. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.
Let's get